I made a video about why conspiracy theories are both good and bad. I'm going to get into a video that's on YouTube that kind of proves the case that I'm trying to make. Let's talk about that on this episode of Moving Forward Initiative. Welcome back, guys. Another video from Moving Forward Initiative. I want to talk to you guys about some really interesting things. But before we get into that, make sure that you smash that like button and smash that subscribe button as well. If you want to get up-to-date information from my channel, make sure that you click that bell notification so you can get notifications for any time that I post a brand new video. So, let's get into the topic. So, as I stated in my intro, I want to explain really more in depth on why conspiracy theories are good and bad. Now, technically, what I'm trying to watch right now with you is a video from a fellow YouTuber that I have been watching since 2014 or 2015-ish. I've been subscribed to his channel for a long time, and he's very much inspired me to create a channel on my own, is like kind of promoting almost the same exact thing. And if you've heard of him, his name is Ralph Smart. His channel on YouTube goes by Infinite Waters, Diving Deep. And everything that I say is not to bash Ralph. It's more so to kind of get more into detail on why it's very much important to not always follow along with what you hear on the internet. And that goes for me as well. I'm just a guy on the internet trying to give an honest opinion on what I think is what the right way to go about this whole adventure of life is about. And when it comes to certain videos that are out there, you really do have to know the full details on what the person is going through and, where they may be at. When it comes to Ralph in particular, he's not from America. So he may not be fully well invested into a lot of American politics, into how things is played here. And when I get into the topic of the discussion of the video, I want to keep that in the minds of what is going on when it comes to the video that he just posted. Now, if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the video. I'm reacting to it by just watching it on my laptop, but I will, of course, have the video to the side. So let's get started. Like I said, everything that I say about his videos, it's not to bash him. It's more to raise awareness on why it's very much important to not take heed onto everything that people are telling on the internet. And it can be dangerous sometimes. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and to react to the video.
The mandate of masks. That's good news. You don't have to wear a face mask 24/7 in Texas. Also, 100% capacity of indoor dining. Also, you can gather with more people than 6. Okay. Also, businesses can now open. 100% of businesses can now open. So this is good news. When we talk of what's going on the...
Now, of course, he's explaining what happened the other day with Texas lifting the ban on mask. You could wear a mask as freely as you want to in any business. And the state is now fully open by the governor's mandate. And what he's explaining here is that it's great news that people can do this. People are free to do all of these kinds of things. Now, there is a little bit of a gray area with that. Yeah, it's good that businesses are coming back alive and people are starting to get a sense of normalcy right now. But the problem is that the virus is still out there. And that is the reason why people are kind of iffy when it comes to certain states trying to lift the ban when not everybody is fully vaccinated. And I know that everybody has a strong opinion on vaccinations, but common sense right there is, keeping people safe, keeping the mask. It's not really just to, you know, be not free or anything. There's no freedom attached to it. It's just more so common decency to the next person. So you don't get sick and so they don't get sick from you or whatever the case. So, is it's nothing wrong with that. And I think everybody agrees that masks are very much uncomfortable and we don't, not everybody wants to do it, but we're trying to do a civic duty with wearing them. So that's really the case with that. So let me go on and finish the rest of it.
The planet deep divers with this global pandemic. A lot of the times you hear a lot of bad news in the media, but this is some good news, okay? Peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. We are out here in the heart of nature, baby. It's a beautiful day, and that's the good news, okay? To see that there is pushback, to see that actually the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, was like, hey, the cost of people's mental health is going to be far worse than the cost of the global pandemic.
Now, I do agree with him there that right now, ever since last year, there have been there's a strong case that there's a lot of people that are going through a lot of anxiety when it comes to the pandemic. And also, there is a strong case that a lot of people that have dealt with being home a lot more has experienced a lot of domestic violence, even more than prior to the pandemic. So these cases definitely are true. I don't want to knock him down on that. They're definitely true. So he is right about that.
So it's good to see that businesses can now open. It's good to see that people can now actually take off the face mask and actually, breathe in that good ass prana, baby. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? Hey, that is the good news. A lot of people are waking up. That is the good news. A lot of people are realizing we can no longer live like this. That is the good news. A lot of people are realizing we can no longer live in lockdown. That is the good news.
Now, when he says that, when it comes to living in the lockdown, yeah, it is good news. Everything is going to kind of revamp what was before. Everybody is out of their shell. But I really do think that nothing has really changed. I don't really know for other cities. Like, I stay in Atlanta, Georgia, and nothing has really just slowed down. They kind of lifted the ban or just kind of opened up a lot faster than everybody else in the country. We were the first one to open up faster, so I don't really know how it is when it comes to other states, but everything, lockdown wasn't really that bad in my opinion. Now I understand that some people have issues with it, but it really wasn't that bad. And I understand that we are social beings, but I think last year was definitely a good testimony on why our system is not really good. And I really do think that we needed something like that. I don't want to promote any, you know, um, anything as saying like I really promoted the quarantine or anything, but I really do think that it was a much needed um, kind of restart for things to learn the lessons that we needed to as individuals and as a society. So that's my opinion on it.
News. A lot of people realize businesses can no longer be shut. That is the good news. And I was so excited to see what the governor did and said. I was so excited to hear it that actually now businesses can actually open in Texas, which is good news because a lot of people have been hit hard financially with this global pandemic. Okay? My afro's growing, deep divers, because my barber has actually been forced to shut for a few months right now.
Now, that is very true as far as businesses goes. There are a lot of businesses have had to shut down and they're never returning. Now, that is no fault of the virus. That is the fault of the federal government. The federal government didn't mandate things the way that they should have. They shouldn't have allowed people to continuously pay for bills on top of bills. It was just ran in a completely wrong manner. And the way that they should have done it, I'm not the federal government, but it could have been much better in how to work things out. No, now there are businesses, even firsthand, I'm seeing it, like even the place that I worked at last year, I don't really know if it's coming back. The owners had to sell it to somebody new, and hopefully that person can actually pull off certain things a lot better. But I've actually seen a couple of businesses that are just completely just gone. They can no longer sustain right now. And it's weird because this, like I said, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and we opened much earlier than everybody else did. And some of these businesses that I'm talking about, like restaurants, opened up like on day one, or at least like a couple of weeks after, and that those businesses are no longer. So that is really very much telling of what the real issue is. It's not the pandemic or the virus or the lockdown or anything. It is definitely the federal government who didn't step in and help the business owners and the people as much as they should have. So that's my 2 cents.
Right? So a lot of people are going through it. And it's so good to see that finally businesses can now open. It's also great to see that people are starting to realize the cost of what we're doing. It's going to cost us more in the long run if we don't do something about what's happening. And it's good to see that this is a bold move. In fact, there's been a lot of criticism, okay? A lot of people saying, hey, that shouldn't be happening. Everyone should be in lockdown for the rest of their life and wear a face mask 24/7 and not breathe. And everyone should just be miserable and depressed.
I don't think that anyone thinks that. Me personally, I think unanimously everybody is on the same page, whether that is good or bad. Everybody is on the same page as far as nobody really wants to be in the lockdown. It's just that we're trying to, like I said earlier, we're trying to do a civic duty by not trying to spread the virus even more. Um, I'm I don't think the virus is not real or anything. I think that it definitely is real. I have had family members, my uncle and my aunt, had it, and you know, they are at the age where they could be at risk. And it's a real thing, guys. Like, it really is. And you can't promote the wrong things. That's what I'm really trying to get at, is that you cannot promote the wrong things, like what Ralph is trying to implement in some kind of way. These kinds of the virus is real, and the lockdowns, nobody wanted to go on lockdown, but we will do our best to try to keep it from spreading even more. And I definitely feel as though where I'm at in Atlanta, Georgia, once the virus hit, people were outside having a ball as far as being in nature. I've seen people in nature, and I've seen people doing the right things. Now, true enough, when the businesses started open, like the malls, yes, people were abusing certain things as far as going to the malls and packing places to a point where it shouldn't have been like that. And I don't really think any cases had been up, but I definitely feel, well, I'll say this another way. Cases tend to steady, but not like explode as much as they were that they were going to do, in a way. And I definitely think that has to deal with the fact that people here in Atlanta, were wearing their mask into places. I've seen places where public places where everybody was trying to do the right thing and wear a mask into places and not be in spots where nobody at all was wearing a mask. And the businesses were trying to implement that as much as they could as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't agree
And
with you.
who cares about your mental health, okay? But it's good to see that finally people are starting to say, actually, do you know that suicide rates are up? Depression rates are up, anxiety rates are up because of this global pandemic. That's not misinformation. That's a real fact. Slow motion this side.
And like I said, I do agree with him there that suicide rates and depression rates, they are going up. And I definitely feel as though if you personally, or if you know somebody that is personally going through things where they are having a hard time with all of this, speak to them, or try to find somebody that they can speak to that is well educated, and to try to get them the help that they need to out of this situation. And I don't think that it has to deal with the virus. Well, actually, it does have to deal with the virus. There are a lot of key factors in this. And I definitely feel as though Ralph is really missing the point on it. It's not the lockdown part. Now, true enough, a good chunk of it could be the lockdown, where people are feeling contained and they can't express and they can't be around socially with people. But it goes deeper. It's people who have lost loved ones. It is people who has lost jobs that can't return to a job because of fear of getting a virus, or they just can't return to a job because no one is hiring. So it is sending people on the downward spirals because of the system. It doesn't have to deal with the pandemic. It was the system that is ruining people's lives. And that's what the issue of all of this is. And that's why I'm going against what Ralph is trying to portray here. It doesn't have to deal with that. It's the system, to be quite honest.
So it's great to see, as a psychologist, more people saying, actually, as human beings, we were designed for social interaction. We are social beings. We need community more than anything. In a world of 7.8 billion people, nobody should be isolated. Slow motion this side. Thank goodness people are starting to wake up on the planet. You see, I told you, the inorganic ones, their greatest power is your fear. And their greatest fear is that you wake up to your true power.
Now, I do agree with him there as far as how, as the society, our world is ran. When it comes to powerful leaders, there there are things and entities that are out there that's trying to bring you down, bring your energy out of you, suck it out of you. But when it comes to this pandemic, whether it was manufactured or not, it doesn't matter at this point in time. It is time to push forward with all of that. It's time to stop dwelling on what happened and what was and trying to figure out solutions as to how do we get out of this stage of perpetual sleep? How do we get out of the matrix? How do we get out of the matrix? And how do you get out of that is by structurally changing your reality, changing your perspective on things. It's nothing wrong with listening to people like me or Ralph or anybody that is preaching you a point of view on things, but take it with a grain of salt and try to figure out what it is that you need to do internally and how you can fix it externally and how you can change your reality in the house in your own little bubble, but then outside of that bubble as well. So, like I said, all of this has to deal with how society is just bringing us down. There is a lot of turmoil in our societies all across the board, all around the world. Everyone is living in a perpetual state of mind that's going in a loop, in a cycle over and over and over again. And when I hear Ralph say these kinds of things, I'm trying to tell you, the audience, and him personally, that it can be dangerous by spreading information that is true, but then also can alter the perception of how everything that's going on right now is a false world, that we should go out and just take off our mask and live in the society without taking care of our fellow next human being, looking out for them because you may have the virus or they may have the virus. And that is not good. We should take heed when a person is trying to give us information that is going to give us the wrong perception on our societies and how we live. Now, I still listen to Ralph. I'm still a subscriber to him, and I definitely think that you should check him out too. And I'm really not trying to bash him or anybody that is out there that's saying certain things that's like this. And you may live in Texas as well, and you may think that this is a good idea to not wear masks and everything. And I tell you that there's nothing wrong with thinking that, but just think about your next door person. Think about the people who you're surrounded by. Once the virus is fully rectified, then yeah, I definitely think we should stop wearing masks. And I'm pretty sure that they will implement where you don't have to wear it. And the virus itself and getting the vaccine is a whole nother topic on its own, as far as whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's about seeing if people will get the vaccine to get some kind of, in a way, some kind of surveillance on you to see if you actually have gotten the vaccine. But it's still not okay to tell people that they shouldn't wear these masks. And it's not to Ralph or anything, but it's to the government, to the governor of that state, and to the federal government as a whole, and not implementing the right things, the right measures to keep things safe. And that is why it is always important to take a grain of salt with everything that you hear, everything that you see. It is important for that. But like I said, I don't know. I really, I really adore Ralph, and I really just wish that he would just take heed into everything that I said. I know he probably doesn't watch my channel. I'm just a new YouTuber saying whatever right now, but I really just wish that you, the viewer, would really just take everything that you hear and see with a grain of salt right now. And it's not just right now, but in the future as well, when it comes to people like me or anybody that's on YouTube. That's the reality that we live in right now. It's the age of information, and there is a lot of information that is out there that you can get that's good and that's bad, unfortunately. So take heed of that. But alas, thank you guys for joining me today. I had to stop his video as soon as I could because it's not to him or anything. I didn't want to overdraw this video, overextend it even longer than what it already is. But anyways, I thank you for joining me in this video. Make sure that you subscribe and share your comments down below. Share your comments. Let's have an open discussion about this. Let's talk more about everything, about really just moving forward in life. It's not about staying stuck in this moment, but just pushing straight forward into how we can implement the right ways to go about our lives, okay? So like I said, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like, and comment down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.